The next step in creating our light class is to create a function that will set the color of the light. We're going to want the color of our light to change in a cycle from red to green, from green to blue, and then from blue back to red, and so on. So the light is going to be changing to all different colors, and we're going to need a function to set the light to a particular color. So let's create that now. I'm going to insert my cursor after the final line that I have coded here, press return, and I'm going to insert the function set color, and it's going to accept 3 floating point values, 3 numbers, and they are going to be the numbers that correspond to the color values of the red, green and blue channel. So I'm going to create float R, float G and float B for red, green and blue, and going to create the function skeleton there. So the user or the developer will be able to plug in these 3 values, R, G and B, and based on these 3 values we need to set the color of the light. To do that, I'm going to create a local variable here of the color type. I'm going to call the variable col, and it is of the color data type, that is a structure representing a color. Going to assign this color structure the red component of the color structure, the R value, the R parameter here. Going to repeat this for the green and blue components, changing this to G, changing this to B for red, green and blue. Going to assign this G and assign this B. So that what we have here is the R parameter fed in from the top here is being assigned to the red component of this color data type here, the green value being assigned to the green component and the blue value being assigned to the blue component. Now this will not yet set the color of the light, but what it does is that it plugs these RGB values into a color data type that we'll need for setting the light color. Beneath this line we're going to actually set the light color using the following statement. Going to type light component to access the light component object, which is a member variable of the Spotlight toggleable class. Going to access the light component object, and I'm going to call the function set light properties. Now this function takes a set of can be up to 3 parameters, each parameter being optional. The first parameter is the brightness of the light. Now we don't want to change the brightness of the light. We want the brightness of the light to remain at its default or to whatever value the user may set it. So let's select light component dot brightness. That will leave the brightness value intact. So the first parameter I'm providing to this set light properties function is the light component brightness value. That is the current brightness of the light. So I'm not going to be changing its brightness value. I'm just passing this function its existing brightness. But the second parameter is the color of the light. You can see it listed in bold here in the tooltip text. Now here is where I pass the color value, the color that I want to set the light to. We've created the color here in this color data type. So this is the value that I want to pass to the set light properties function. So I'm going to specify col here, C-O-L for an abbreviation of color, and I'm going to close the function call here. So I'm passing the set light properties function 2 properties: light component brightness, which is the brightness of the light, and col, which is the new color that we want to use for the light. So there we have created our set color function. This function can be called to set the color of the light. The light class created so far can potentially set its color through the set color function. I use the word potentially because the set color function, at least at present, is never actually called by the class. It is never actually initiated, meaning that it never gets to set the color of the light at all. We're going to address that now using the states feature of Unreal Script. Now, if we just think about our class for the moment, we can see that it exists in 3 separate states, and it exists in only one of these 3 states at any one time. The 3 states are red, green, and blue. That is to say that the light could be green, it could be red, it could be blue, and the light will cycle through those colors, but it can be only one of those colors at any one time. So it can be in up to 3 different states. So let's create these states now by using the states keyword. I'm going to create a state for red. Going to create a state for green. And I'm going to create a state for blue. Now you will notice here that the red state is prefixed with the keyword auto, which means automatic, and it refers to the state as the default state. This means that it makes the red state of the light the state in which the light will be when it is created, and it will be the state in which it will remain unless the light class is explicitly told to change to a different state, either green or blue. So the red state is the default state for the light. Now, when the light is in the red state, we want the light color to change to red. When the light is in the green state, to change to green, and blue to change to blue. We can use the begin keyword inside each state to execute some code as soon as the class enters that state. So if I put the begin keyword inside the red block here, this means that as soon as the light enters the red state, it's going to run some code that comes after begin. Now, to change the color of the light, I need to call the set color function. So after begin, I'm going to type set color 25500. So what happens here is as soon as the red state is entered, it runs the set color function to change the color of the light to red. I'm using these values here because 255 stands for full intensity in the red channel, and 0 intensity in the green, and 0 here, 0 intensity in the blue. This is the color value, the RGB color value for the color of red. Going to code some similar setups here to change the color to green and blue. I want to create set color here for green. Here for the green value. Going to change the color here to blue, like so. Okay, so what we have done here is we've created 3 different states for the light, and each state will set the color of the light to its appropriate color as soon as that state is entered. It will do that because the set color function in each state is called after the begin keyword of that state. What we're going to do now is address another issue related to states.